Hello and welcome back to Podium Pop. My name is Celine and I'm here with my co-host Gracie.
Hi.
And this week's episode we are going to be doing a recap of the Austrian Grand Prix, and it was a doozy.
It was a doozy.
So let's go ahead and pop the bottle, get right on into it. Oh, but before we do that, make sure you're following us on social media. Make sure to go check us out on Instagram and TikTok. We post a lot on TikTok, so that's the best place to follow us. We post on Instagram sometimes as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started with some news for contracts.
Before we get started, I would like to say it was a yabba dabba doozy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I thought the audio was like waiting to say that.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It was a yabba dabba doozy.
It was a yabba dabba doozy. God.
We're like trying to figure out how to recap this. We're gonna start from the beginning of the week of the news we got, which was
Contract extensions.
Not surprising.
Both of them are not crazy. Obviously Lance.
Yeah, Lance extended with Aston, of course.
And then Pierre also extended with Alpine, which that one wasn't surprising, but I wasn't like 100% sure that was going to happen.
Yeah, I was curious.
So it's interesting to see that. I will be interested to see who has the second Alpine seat.
I know.
Because the rumors are flying. And
literally,
I think
it's insane.
Once again, shocker, dependent on where Carlos goes. Still no news, by the way. But there's also, like, Jack's name being thrown around, Mick's name being thrown around.
So much.
It could be
an
anyone.
Alpine seat.
I know. It's freaking Alpine.
Yeah.
But, I just need Carlos to make a damn decision.
No, literally. And is it gonna happen next week?
I think he keeps saying, I have to think about it. I have to think about it. I honestly think that he's just crossing his fingers that he waits long enough that Red Bull gets fed up with Checo and offers the position to Carlos.
Yeah.
But if he pulls the trigger too soon and say Checo has like the next 2 or 3 races are bad, then maybe he lost his chance if he does that.
Yeah.
So
I kind of feel like Red Bull, as much as Checo's like not doing too good and it's costing him the constructors right now, not currently, but like could in the future cost him the constructors, I feel like they're just really happy with that teammate pairing on track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I will say that, I mean, even after the contract, like I think Helmut came out with like statements.
That's true.
I think, I actually heard one of the commentators were like, normally like once a driver like gets signed, like gets their contract taken care of, it's signed, they start to drive better because they just like are stressed less about where they're going to drive next year. They're like, it's the opposite for Checo. As soon as he got that contract signed, he has not been on it since then.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. So that's gonna lead to some things, I'm assuming, but we will go ahead. In this episode, we're obviously going to do the recap of the race, but we're also going to do our predictions for next weekend. It is the 3rd weekend of the triple header, which is Silverstone, a big race. So we'll do our predictions for that as well as our predictions for Mid-Ohio IndyCar because we will be there.
Woo, we're going.
Very, very excited. Just a couple more days, 5 more days, and we'll be at the track.
In case you listened to the episode last week, I still haven't found my summer clothes, and I still have no clue what I'm wearing.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm wearing either. I really need to figure that out, unfortunately.
This is, like, the least prepared I've been for anything.
So, let's talk a little bit. Is there any other news that we need to discuss before we kind of get into qualifying? So, one thing to note about the Austrian Grand Prix is they added in, they changed a little bit from last year. So, last year, track limits were like literally like insane. Like it was so many track limits violations. And this year they put in gravel traps to try to make it easier to see where track violations would be. It wasn't perfect, as we'll discuss a little bit, but that was the goal there. So in qualifying, the biggest thing to note is in Q3, Oscar did get his time deleted, which was really heartbreaking to us. Max got pole, Lando got second.
Mm-hmm. Oscar could have gotten third.
Yep.
Had he not had his lap time deleted. And it
K-Mag was doing amazing. Oh my god, and we gotta talk about the sprint too. Oh, we didn't mention anything about the sprint. It was a sprint weekend.
Didn't mention anything about the sprint.
So Max won the sprint race. Lando came in, or Oscar came in second? Lando came in second. Yeah. Oscar came in third. Yeah. The sprint race was pretty standard. Nothing crazy.
Max and Lando battled a bit, but barely.
Yeah. God,
this weekend's been so long for us, you guys.
It has.
I completely forgot this sprint. Oh, this was it was at 6 a.m. for us, right?
Yeah. No, I specifically woke up, watched it, went back to bed. I'm like, what happened?
No, literally, what happened?
What happened? Like I said, it was pretty standard. Yeah. Back to qualifying. Oscar got to Q3, got his time deleted, so he started in 7th. Mm-hmm. Any other things crazy about Checo did make it to Q3 this time, but he still was pretty low in the pack. Mm-hmm. Which again is like, you're in a freaking Red Bull.
Yeah, odd. And your teammate is consistently getting pole positions.
Yeah. So Red Bull pace over practice, sprint qualifying, sprint, and qualifying, wasn't amazing. Actually, qualifying they were okay, but it wasn't amazing during like the sprint and all that stuff. And they fixed it, unfortunately. Yeah. So Red Bull had the pace. The car had the pace. So again, it does make you question like, where was the pace for Checo? I don't know if they set up their car differently.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if I do know for a fact, like obviously, like the Red Bull is basically made for Max and fits his driving style. But like, what is the disconnect? I don't quite get it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
We also need to talk about the fact that Max during free practice 1 stopped on track.
Yeah.
And then started rolling down the hill. I just woke up to see like tweets, and I was like, oh my gosh. Max is steadily, we're just passing a cat. Max is just steadily rolling down this hill, and everybody was like, what is going on? They fixed those issues.
Yeah. No, I mean, he literally, he stopped on the track, but he still, like, ended up getting, like, fastest time or fastest lap. So, like, it just, again, proves Max he knows what the fuck he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, qualifying was pretty good. And then an incident happened during the sprint race, or during qualifying did it happen? Yuki.
Oh, okay. So I believe it was during qualifying. Zhou, I believe, one of the Saubers, kind of pulled out in the pit lane in front of Yuki, and Yuki was nervous about not getting out with enough time. So he said on his radio, and he was like, he said the R word, which is not acceptable in any way. And I don't think in the beginning people caught it, but then somebody was like, did you guys hear this? And then even like Yuki's I must have team principal, engineer, was like, it's fine, like there's gonna be enough time, like don't worry, it'll be okay. And then he was just still like very frustrated by it. He got fined $40,000, and then he like put out an apology statement, which I like the fact that he like didn't let it stew.
He owned up to it.
He owned up to it. He didn't let it just like sit for a while and try to sweep it under the rug type of deal.
Yeah. I mean, he claimed it was like a language barrier.
Yeah.
He didn't, I think he understood that he shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
But he didn't quite fully grasp. He's saying he didn't quite fully grasp the like
implications.
But
you also on the radio, like he hesitated on the word.
Yeah. No,
and then he fully went and said it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much. I don't know.
I think. I think the fine it's good that they are kind of not letting that slide.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. He's not going to do it again.
No, not be happening again.
Can't afford to.
No, he literally can't afford to.
But yeah, so that happened on Saturday. What else?
Well, the good old race.
The good old race. And it was a really good race, guys. So we'll start out from the beginning. Max got a great start. He kind of pulled ahead quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
And pretty much kept it the whole time.
And then,
well, not the whole time.
Well.
Majority of the time. Lando and Max were pretty much fighting the whole time.
Well, I think what got Lando back closer is Red Bull had a 6-second pit stop.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they did have that really slow pit stop.
Yeah.
Because it almost did seem like we're not going to catch him. Like, let's just keep second place. And then they had a bad pit stop, and we were like,
we're back in the game.
We're back in the game.
Yeah.
It seems. So they had a bad pit stop. They kind of catch up. And also there were some penalties. So Oscar, with his time getting delayed to track limits, he was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to watch everybody else.
Make sure they do everybody.
Lewis, on pit entry, crossed the line. I mean, for Oscar to
How
see
he
this.
noticed that was insane.
He literally was just waiting for a moment. He saw Lewis barely cross the line. Even the commentators were like, that is, like, how the fuck did he see it?
Yeah.
He goes, he called him out. He was a little tattletale, and you gotta respect it.
And you know what? I would have done the same thing.
And he said, Lewis just did this, and then Lewis got a penalty.
5-second
penalty. That happened. Fernando also got a penalty for crashing into one of the RBs. I think it was Yuki. They didn't crash out, but, like, he kind of bumped into him and pushed him off.
Yeah.
A little bit. Charles had a rough race. Very early, him and Oscar bumped at, the start.
Yeah.
And him and Logan, although I don't know why Logan, but him and Logan both had to pit after the first lap to fix some damages.
Logan had front wing damage.
Mm-hmm. They both had front wing damage. Yeah, so that Charles was pretty much just trying to kind of catch up the whole time. Another thing about this track is that it's so small.
It's so small. Oh, bless you.
Thank you. It's so small that it's so easy to, like, lap around.
Yeah, this was so
insane. There's always just so much traffic because of that. And, like, normally, like, the last couple of cars do get lapped during the race. Especially in, like, the ones that, like, Max is, like, absolutely dominating.
Yeah.
But I think Logan last race. Where were we before?
Spain.
I'm pretty sure he got, like, almost double lapped.
Yeah.
But, like, it was, like, fully, like, half of the people were lapped. Like, it was insane. Which caused a lot of issues with, dirty air and all of that. But the biggest thing.
Well, I'm back to Charles really quick. He had a fantastic recovery. Because at one point he literally was in P19 and he finished P12, P11, P12.
I think so.
That's a great recovery for having damage on the first lap. And then, I mean, he did. When Lando was told Charles was unlapping and he just got in Lando's way and then went long. Lando was like, okay, great. What was that for?
Yeah, they're like, Charles is being told to...
He's being told he's allowed to unlap.
He's allowed to unlap. And Lando just goes, no. And you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, so fair.
Fair enough. So yeah, Lando and Max were pretty aggressively fighting each other. The whole race. Until... Well, so there are a lot of issues. So Lando was complaining that Max was... I don't know what it's called.
Oh my gosh, underbraking.
Right, and like basically... Well, no, he was complaining about... how he was, like, reacting to Lando's moves. So when Lando would, like, make a move behind him, you're allowed to move one time, but you're not allowed to move, like, in reaction to, like, get in his way. And he was saying he was doing that multiple times. 3 times total. 2 of the times Lando avoided him, and the last time they did make contact. And Lando was pissed. So they made contact... got pushed off on one side of the track, on the outside of the track. And then Max stayed on the track, Lando rejoined, and then Max at this point was going really slow. And so Lando tried to get around him after that because Lando at first really didn't have any damage. Or he had damage, but it wasn't like hitting it yet. Yeah. And then Max kind of pushed him off again.
No, he pushed him off literally into the grass.
Into the grass on the inside of the track. So Lando, once again, was not very happy about that.
I will say, Lando, I saw a lot of people online talking about this, and I agree. Lando got out and was like, obviously very disappointed and upset that he was out of the race and Max was still able to go. And, like, in the interviews, it wasn't too bad, I feel like. Like, obviously, he's mad. Mm-hmm. But then a lot of people noticed that after interviewers started being like, oh, well, Max and Red Bull are saying that it's your fault, not his. Mm-hmm. Then that's when you start to see him get pissed off.
Yeah.
Which is so fair.
Yeah. So... yeah, Lando had too much damage to continue, so he had to stop. Max was able to change his tire and then keep going.
And Max only got a 10-second penalty that did absolutely nothing to his race.
Mainly because the person behind him was Hulk, and Hulk was like 20-something seconds behind him. So Max ended in 5th with the 10-second penalty, still ended up in 5th.
And he extended his championship lead by more points than he would have if Max and Lando would have gotten a 1-2. Mm-hmm. Which is so frustrating. It's so annoying.
So Lando did hold on to second place. He is still in second place.
Oh, yeah.
Charles didn't overtake him, which thankfully Charles didn't get points this time, so that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. McLaren is still, they didn't lose any points. Mercedes is so far behind us in the constructors.
Oh, yeah.
That I feel safe, although it's
scaring me.
I'm not scared yet for Mercedes, but I do want to catch Ferrari, and there's still so many races left. We're not even to summer break yet, so we're not even halfway through. It's just, I just want them to do better. Mm-hmm.
Well, so Lando has to retire. Max has to pit to get. Max's tire was insanely.
Oh my god,
ruined.
I'm surprised.
I don't know how
he
made it to the pits. Mm-hmm. That put Max in 5th, and he got that 10-second penalty, so it gave George Russell the opening, and he finished in 1st place.
Yep.
So, big congratulations. Big congratulations to George.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
Yabba
dabba doo.
That's what he said on the radio when they said that he won. He said, yabba dabba doo.
Why was that?
He said it. I looked at Gracie, I said, did I hear that correctly?
We were freaking out.
Oscar got second.
Oscar could have won if he didn't have track limits.
Yeah, no, he could have. Well, one, I think he would have caught him if, again, like, not to be the if, and not to be the if he had a couple more laps, he would have beat him. But no, if he wouldn't have gotten that track limits violation, he could have won. But again, who knows? Like, if he was higher up,
I don't know. Yeah, would he have
in the grid
been closer to them at that battle?
Yeah, God, Max takes both of them out. Then I'd really...
like, I'm fighting for my life over here having Lando, Oscar, and Max as my top favorite drivers.
Yeah, it's tough.
No, it's rough out here right now.
It's really rough. But yeah, so Oscar got podium, and then Carlos came in 3rd, which, again, it was good for Ferrari because, again, Charles didn't get any points.
Yeah.
So... it was just a lot of good battles, though. Like, Max and Lando were... having such good fights.
It needed to be a little less
aggressive,
childish and racing.
Yeah, like everyone's like, yeah, Mad Max is like back.
Yeah, Mad Max is
and
back.
You see a lot of people, and it's like this is exactly how he raced with Lewis back in 2021, and like it seemed the situation seemed to have gotten better, but it was because no one was really up there fighting Max like that.
Yeah.
So he didn't really have to like fight dirty. So that
it's going to be such an interesting rest of the season.
I think we're going to see quite a bit of Max and Lando kind of having these spats.
Yeah, I think so.
Throughout the rest of the year, because I think this was like kind of the breaking point. Even last week, you saw a hint of it with, you know, Max saying that Lando didn't leave him space, so he pushed him to the grass, and Lando was, like, very firm, like, no, I think there was plenty of space. There wasn't.
No, there wasn't.
But him being,
okay,
like,
baby.
in, like, the presser afterwards, he was like, yeah, like, he was not, like, Lando Lewis and Max were, like, joking around about it, and, like, you could tell Lando was, like, he did not find it funny. Like, he was just like, I left you plenty of space, so.
Yeah, they're getting aggressive.
In the interviews, well, yeah, and then Christian Horner comes on the radio after the fact and being like, yeah, like, he shouldn't be driving like that. It's Lando's fault, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I guarantee you, like, everyone is saying it was Max's fault, the issue. And even Christian Horner probably knew that, but he knew that he couldn't obviously say that to Max. Like, so I get that why Christian said that. Ew. But he could have just not said anything.
And, like, Christian coming on here being like, that was a naughty move by Lando.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. We all know you cheated on your wife.
Yeah,
and
like, maybe focus on yourself, please.
And got employee fired for harassing her, so.
Yeah. Poor Andrea Stella, I think, he was very mature about it afterwards, kind of spoke, and he even mentioned, like, listen, this is how Max raced before. It wasn't addressed properly, and now it's still happening. We have to address it.
Yeah.
Poor Andrea also he went to the stewards
for Oscar
on Saturday for Oscar because trying to get the lap time deleted overturned because he was barely over the line.
Yeah.
And so Andrea is not.
He's at a weekend.
He's not very happy with the FIA right now.
The FIA and Red Bull pissing off Andrea Stella.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Yep. But you know what? I have full confidence that we're gonna come back and kind of really stick it to him next week.
Speaking of comeback, McLaren had an upgrade this week and like a new front wing.
Yeah.
And that's what Lando had got. Max's tire had hit Lando's front wing and fucked up his car, and unfortunately, we might have to use the non-upgrade. I'm there. Lando might have to use non-upgraded parts for Silverstone if they can't get that upgraded front wing fixed, which that will be really disappointing.
Yeah, I think it will be disappointing, but also, like, I'm not too worried about it because they were competitive. Honestly, they were closer to Red Bull's pace before the upgrades. And yes, I know it's because Red Bull made adjustments and not us necessarily, but I feel like we'll be okay.
Yeah, that's also just like another, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Once again, Red Bull screwing us over.
Yeah.
Any other big moments in the race? I mean, obviously that was the biggest one.
Oscar's overtake on Carlos to get second place. That was a fantastic move by him. Great racing.
Speaking of overtakes by Oscar, throwing it back to the sprint race, he had a beautiful overtake on Lando. He almost got to overtake Max and Lando. He was close. Lando and Oscar were battling pretty hard during the sprint race, but you know what? They battled respectfully. No bumps. I also really...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really appreciate how unified of a team Lando and Oscar are. Like, not once, did either of them, like, even when they were battling and all this stuff, they never, like, talk about each other in the media. It's not like Ferrari where you see, like, Charles and Carlos going back and forth when they were fighting on track. If they do have those conversations, they have them in private.
Yeah. And also this weekend we saw, like, when after the sprint race in the interview, Linda was like, that was a great move by Oscar. He did a great job. Like, we were there. And then this weekend, my favorite moment of the weekend, to be honest, is in the cool down room when George was like, did you say funny?
Oh, yeah, it was a good battle or something.
I said something about the battle. And they were, like, laughing at it, too. Them, like, Carlos and George laughing. And then Oscar literally goes, well, it got you a win, so.
Yeah, like, he was like, that's why you're
up here.
And also, like, yeah, again, like, they were kind of laughing about it, and, like, Oscar was not. Even Oscar was, like, said, like, something like, oh, my God, like, that's ridiculous, or something like that. To, like, Max's move that caused Lando to crash. Like, they were just, like, again, like, they have, like, that loyalty.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, I think, something that, a lot of people were concerned about just because Lando is pretty reactive to things in the media sometimes. Again, maybe look at the example from this weekend. So, like, I think it was something that they're like, oh, I wonder, you always hear that, like, well, they're friends now, but what happens when they start battling on track? Are they still going to be friends? Which people say about Max and Lando now.
Yeah.
And people would say that about Lando and Oscar, but obviously they just prove that they can be mature enough to kind of talk things through.
A bunch of people almost everybody was like, this is Max's fault, the incident today.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there are people out there who think it was Lando's, and they're like, well, Lando can't do clean wheel to wheel racing, but obviously he can. We saw it in the sprint with Oscar.
Yeah.
And I get he might be a little more safe when it's his teammate, but I don't know. He displayed this weekend that he can in the sprint race.
Yeah.
And does.
Mm-hmm.
So I love defending Lando Norris.
Yeah. But I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for Silverstone.
I'm scared.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's a big race for a lot of people. It's like one of the bigger races of the year.
I'm praying for Lando and Oscar and Lewis and George as like media for the week.
Yeah. Why Oscar?
I didn't mean to say Oscar.
He's always on our mind.
I'm just always thinking about that Australian man.
Yeah, so the media's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's not a sprint race. Is
No.
F2 going to be there?
Yeah, F2 and F3 will be there.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to do our podium pop and... I always say that.
It's not a podium pop.
I know.
It's a
champagne pop and champagne problems for Austria.
Yes, before we do, I'd like to talk about, I meant to mention earlier when George won, when George took the lead and his engineer was like, okay, like, keep going. And then Toto just comes over the radio and starts screaming, we can win this, George! And George goes, let me fucking drive!
Yeah. I was really proud of George in that moment, honestly.
He came back in an interview later and was like, it almost made me crash. Like,
yeah.
Shut up, Toto.
Yeah, he was like, it was so loud. And
no, it was like just startling. I think even we were like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go on for our champagne pops and champagne problems for the week.
Okay.
Who was your champagne pop?
My champagne pop, it's gonna have to go to George.
Okay.
Only because he said yabba dabba doo. I'm just kidding.
You say funny catchphrase on the radio, you are our champagne pop.
Yep. No, I think, again, it was definitely caused by Max and Lando. I gotta sneeze again.
Bless you.
I think it passed. Wait.
Take your time.
Sorry. Some ASMR. It was definitely caused by Max and Lando crashing and bumping. I don't think he would have won. He may have gotten podium, but I think he stayed calm when he needed to.
Are you like still finishing your sneeze?
He stayed calm when he needed to. He got the job done. I think in general, it was good. Although I didn't want to steal it, but your champagne pop I actually fully agree with, so say yours.
My champagne pop is to both of the Haas drivers because combined, and the Haas team, combined this week they got 12 points from...
Amazing.
From the race. Mm-hmm. They got 12 points, and in 2023, they only scored 12 points for the entire year.
It was a fantastic race for them.
It was a fantastic... They're doing so good.
Yeah, before the race, Hulk posted a picture of him and K-Mag together, like, watching some soccer, and people are saying that it's reverse Mercedes.
Yes, that's so funny.
But they both had a great race. Nico ended in 6th, which is, like, insane to think that a Haas is in 6th.
Yeah.
I think that Haas could be cooking something up, because even the last couple of races, while they haven't been, like, super high up in the points or anything, they've been looking, like, consistently better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have.
So I think that's interesting. If no one really talks about them very often. So, like, did they bring upgrades? I don't know.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, I can only tell you when McLaren brings upgrades. I'm going to be honest. Well, obviously,
any of the
research.
higher up teams. But, yeah, they looked really good this weekend.
They did look good. I mean, not to be that person, because I just gave my champagne pop. You got to think about the fact that Hulk would have been, like, 8th if Max and Lando didn't... No. He would have been in 7th. Oh, so never mind. Actually, I'm going to take that away. I fully rescind that comment.
Yeah, and even then, like, during the sprint race, like, K-Mag a lot of the time was, like, in 8th. I don't know if he finished in 8th, but he was in 8th most of the time, and, like, or not 8th, 10th, most of the time, and he would have gotten points if it wasn't a sprint race.
Oh, yeah.
If it was like a normal race, he would have gotten points. Like, they looked really good this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're kind of flying under the radar. People aren't talking too much about them, but I think it's going to set them up really nicely for the second half of the year. And if they can, like, start battling, like, Aston Martin a little bit more, I know that's, like, obviously a stretch. Like, being around RB, being around Aston Martin looked rough this weekend.
They did look rough this weekend.
I don't know if it was the specific track. Not sure what was happening there. But, like, I don't know. I think Haas we always associate just being at the very back. I mean, honestly, all the teams, too. Like, Alpine looked good this weekend, too.
Alpine is doing so good lately.
I think Williams is honestly the only team that hasn't looked okay at one point this year.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about the Alpine incident. Ciao.
Oh my god. The sass
that was
on that man, Pierre. He, it was bad. Him and Esteban were kind of fighting quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And then Pierre finally got around him and went out of his way, clicked the radio button, said, ciao. And then pulled away. Like,
that is so...
You have to go out of your way to do that. Like, it'd be different if, like, the radio... Like, the radios were just on the whole race. Mm-hmm. And that sound bit was, like, clipped. Mm-hmm. No, you have to turn the radio on specifically. Which is a whole nother thing to think about with Yuki as well. Is that, like, the radio's on.
Yeah.
It's not like it's, like, a reactive thing. Like, it's not... Like, and Oscar talked about that in the interviews. He's like, I don't know why these people, like... Everyone's like, you're so calm on the radio. He's like, well, like, I get frustrated, too. I just don't turn my radio on at that point.
Yeah.
Like, unless I'm specifically... Like, if I'm just, like, being like, oh, shit. Like, they cut me off or whatever. Which I say that all the time when I'm in the car. He's like, I just don't turn the radio on. Like, it's pretty simple.
It is very simple.
So... That just makes Yuki look even worse, honestly.
Huh. Yeah, I think he was saying his frustrations to his engineer, and then, oh my god, I literally was baffling to leave. Like, but my jaw fully fell to the floor, and I was like, oh my god, and you're like, oh god, like, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, insane.
Mm-hmm. But ciao. Yep.
We never said our champagne problems.
Oh, yes.
Who are your champagne problems?
Champagne problems. Probably Yuki. It's Yuki. Like, completely non-racing related.
Yeah.
It's Yuki. Took the L this weekend for sure. Didn't even have that fantastic of a race. Nothing notable there, really. Mm-hmm. And then also probably Max.
Yeah.
That's because I'm a McLaren fan, so obviously, like, I try to do, like, my best to be kind of objective when giving out the podium. I always say that freaking frick.
We are the podium pops.
Champagne pops and champagne problems. I try to be objective, but at the end of the day, I'm just a girl that loves McLaren. I can't help it. So yes, my champagne pop is going to Max.
I bleed
not pop
papaya.
Yeah, we bleed papaya. Oh, I thought of something else to mention, too, and I forgot. Must not have been that important.
I would like to talk about the fact that Oscar's engineer takes a selfie every time Oscar's on the podium, and it's so cute.
It's so cute.
I love that.
It's so cutie patootie, for sure.
Very cutie patootie.
Should we do predictions?
I just feel like my brain is, like, scrambled right now.
Yeah,
what have we talked about for the last 34 minutes?
Don't know.
Literally.
Talked about F1.
I hope you all find this enjoyable.
So we'll do predictions for Silverstone. Who do you think's gonna take pole? I think Max.
Yeah, Max.
Who do you think's gonna win?
Oscar.
God, Lando would be pissed.
I just pulled that out of my head.
Not really pissed, but I think Lando would be like, "Aw, my home Grand Prix."
Actually, I think McLaren's gonna win.
Yeah, it feels about time. It's about time.
Yeah, and yeah. Also, Oscar's for sure getting his first win this year. I don't know.
He's getting so close every time,
and he's getting better at tires. Like, yeah. I am going to say the podium is going to be Lando, Max, and a Mercedes.
I hope Lewis.
I would hope, yeah. Lewis
Honestly, it would be so iconic. This wouldn't be great, mainly because
points-wise,
points-wise, and I'm not like the biggest Mercedes fans, but it would be cool to have an all British podium, like Lando, George, and Lewis.
Yeah, what
would be really cool.
It would be cool, but
well, and again, I don't want that to happen because I don't want Mercedes to get more points, but I think that would be really cool. Who else? Is there any other British drivers that I'm missing? Is it just those three?
You could say Alex, but he races under the Thai flag.
Right. Which, yeah, I think it'd still be special for him. But,
yeah.
But that would be really cool. But, yeah, I think it would be nice to see Lewis on the podium for Silverstone.
Again, yeah.
Because it's due.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a McLaren's going to win. Again, we're going to say that pretty much every time. But they are. They've been in second. They've been in third consistently. I mean, when's the last time we haven't been on the podium?
Since before Miami. Were we on the podium in Canada? Yes.
Lando was.
Since before
and then
Miami.
Monaco, Oscar, and then, yeah. So, I mean, it's not even that crazy.
Now the past 6 or 7 races, I believe.
Yeah. Another thing, again, that I forgot to mention is with George Russell winning, that is just another winner.
Oh,
so with
yeah.
11 races, I think it's 11.
Yeah.
11 races, we've had 5 different race winners.
That's insane.
Last year could never.
No.
Like, last year literally had 3 winners the whole year.
It's so exciting.
And Carlos had 1 win. It was just Checo and Max the other times. Which, again, also, we've had 5 winners this year. None, not Checo.
We also didn't talk about this. I wrote it in the notes and completely skipped it over. Max was in first. Obviously, we know what happened. And then Max got his 10-second penalty in 5th place. And he had a 6-second pit stop in the beginning. Had to go pit again after the incident. Checo still finished behind Max.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
I don't quite get it.
Something's gotta give. Like, I wonder. I don't know.
Like, Red Bull should be concerned. At the end of the day, like, you can find other people that have this, that are able to have the same, like, temperament and find, like, a driver that's going to still get along with Max but can actually bring consistent driving to the table.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Red Bull, we are hearing more Ricciardo losing his seat rumors.
Yeah, which, again, could very well have been placed there specifically by Liam Lawson's team.
Which they did it before.
They did before.
But that pissed off Helmet.
When they put the rumors.
Yeah. That made Helmet mad. But, I don't know. So, yeah, we're seeing that, once again, rumors and speculation that Liam could be taking over. And I saw one today that it could be after summer break, and so it would be Zandvoort again. When he...
That'd be so special.
It'd be so special.
We also forgot to mention, so Carlos Sainz liked a post on Instagram, and the post on Instagram was literally a post about how they should basically put Kimi in Williams for 2 years and let him get some experience and put Carlos in the Mercedes seat. And it, like, talked about, like, Max and how he did it with Toro Rosso and all that stuff. And, like, Carlos just liked that.
That post.
And then we went back and, like, he didn't, like, we saw, like, a screenshot of it on Twitter.
So
and we went
back
on
to Instagram to check.
He still, like, he didn't unlike it
Yeah.
either. Like, he was doubling down on it. Like, he was standing on business.
This was, like, a post from June, so I don't know when he liked it. We're in June. It was a post from the beginning of the month, or like midway through the month. Very interesting.
Interesting. So maybe that's a hint. Yeah, there's rumors about Alpine. There's rumors about Williams. Rumors about Mercedes. People are like, maybe he's waiting for Red Bull if they do something. Like, all of these possibilities. Like, hell, he could still technically go to Haas. Like,
when did those Logan rumors spout? Was that this week? Did we talk about those? I think we might have.
Yeah.
Logan's having a bunch of rumors thrown around. Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He's having IndyCar rumors thrown around.
IndyCar rumors, which I would love. People are saying, like, he's in such a good mood. Like, Logan's been in such a good mood the last 2 weeks that people are like, did he sign a contract? And if so, like, where?
Yeah. What do you think... Sorry, back to Silverstone. We're all over the place this episode. If you stayed this long...
We're jumping around quite a bit.
I'm sorry, we'll do better next time. How do you think the racing between Lando and Max is going to go this weekend?
I think it's going to be pretty much every race from this point on. It's going to be scrappy.
I know. I think it's going to be real scrappy.
I think that Lando's going to come in a little scrappier this time.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, like, well, if Max is doing this, I'm going to do it too. And I think Max is going to do it back. I don't think he's going to sit there and take it, obviously.
And Lando's going to get penalties for it, but Max won't.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But we'll see how it goes.
Top 3 favorite drivers.
Yeah. But no, I think pretty much consistently for the rest of the year. Because really, ever since Miami, we have seen Max and Lando pretty much. They are the two fighting at the front.
Yeah.
Almost every time, like, there are some differences. Like, obviously, like, in Monaco, that wasn't the case. Because of, like, qualifying and how that went. But, like, for the most part, it was both of them kind of scrapping at the front. And I think that's just going to continue throughout the rest of the season.
I actually just thought about this now. I'm going to put this on record. There's going to be almost like there was in the sprint, there's going to be a through goes moment while they're battling.
And I hope it's Oscar.
It
needs to be Oscar.
Yeah, that's for sure going to happen. They're going to be so busy with each other, I feel like. And also, I don't know if we said this, I think their friendship is going to be fine.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Because I think once Max sees what happened and kind of reviews it, I think that he'll be the bigger person and go up to Lando and be like, hey, sorry, my bad, that was my fault. Because, again, obviously that never happened with Lewis, but even then they still, like, made amends, and that's probably more so from Lewis's side of things when back in 2021. But I think Max, as much as people are like, oh, Mad Max is coming back, and yes, he's Mad Max in the car still, but I don't think that... I think he's matured a lot, and also I think he really does value his relationship with Lando.
Yeah.
Listen, if Max and Daniel can still be friends after Baku, like...
No, literally.
They're gonna be okay.
It'll be okay.
And I think all Max needs to do is go up to and apologize to Lando, and Lando will be like, all right, thanks, buddy.
And I think it sucked that the media kind of took it that far, too.
Yeah, they were definitely egging each other and be like, this person said this about you.
Did you see those pictures? They were right next to each other.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding? Lawrence was, like, right there, like, Max, what do you think? And then the other interviewers are like, Lando, are you guys still gonna be friends? And they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
That's absolutely hilarious.
But no, I think that their relationship will be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless it continues. Unless this is a every week occurrence, then I think it might suffer a little bit, because how could it not? But I don't think it's going to be like a come to blows moment or anything.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting in the media next week. Oh my god, media days on 4th of July.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's crazy how the whole world doesn't revolve around the United States. Why would they put that on the 4th of July?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Prediction, or we talked about predictions. Let's talk a little bit about IndyCar. Anything else to add about Formula 1?
I don't. Yes. I am standing ground, and I firmly believe that Ollie Behrman's Haas announcement is going to be made Silverstone weekend.
I think so too.
I think that, and I said it's going to hit like crack. I cannot wait for that to be announced. I cannot wait for it.
It's going to be a very euphoric moment.
It's going to be so good, and everyone will be cheering.
Yeah. This is home. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay, so IndyCar.
Yeah.
Next weekend, Mid-Ohio, we will be attending in person. It's also the very first time that they're doing the hybrid.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I hope it's a good race. This will be our first full weekend at IndyCar.
Oh, yeah.
Because we went to the road course, the Indianapolis road course, and we only went for the race.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Indy 500 and, again, only went to the race. So this will be, like, our first full weekend where we get to see, like, the practices, the qualifying, and the race. And I'm so excited. We're going to try to go to, like, the driver's signings.
We will be strutting our way up and down the pit and paddock.
Just knowing that there's a chance that within 5 days I'm going to be standing right there in front of Pietro Fittipaldi.
She's scared.
I'm nervous. I'm going to get up there and be like...
every couple of hours she looks at me and she goes, what do I say to Pietro? She asks her friends this weekend, and one of her friends goes, hi? Say hello?
Well, they first go, who's Pietro?
No, yeah.
And then explain, and then they're like, yeah, just be, like, normal about him. Like, I don't think I can be normal about Pietro.
I jokingly said I was going to pull an Operation Travis Kelce. And if you get that reference, that's all I'm going to say.
Not with Pietro.
No, Pietro.
She wouldn't do that to me.
I I think it'd be funny. So I'll keep you guys updated.
Stay tuned.
It's not gonna actually happen because I would be so scared. But I think it'd be so
Gracie
funny.
would throw the friendship race and be like, bye.
Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I was like visibly shaking when Pato came past us in the driver's parade. Like in India.
Yeah. Like we
looked at me and you're like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Or like I just get so nervous. Like they're just people. They're literally just people. Like even during the race too, or during the parade, I mean, in Indy, you said something. You're like, should I like just being like, oh, Alex Rossi over here, like or whatever.
Oh,
and I was like, no, don't bring attention to
it was
us.
Also when this was when
David was doing.
Yeah, he was like walking because he didn't have a seat at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's David. And then I literally go, oh, should I shout his name and like say hi? And you're like, no. And I was like, what? And then the guy next to me ended up shouting, so like we all waved. But I was like, why'd you tell me no?
I don't know. I got nervous. I feel like I just need to like meet like one driver and then I'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I get like so nervous. Like I get tongue tied. Yeah. When I meet like famous people.
It'll be fine. We're gonna have fun.
It'll be good.
Operation TK could happen. We'll
TK.
See. I'm not gonna. We've done this before.
Oh,
yeah.
Have we?
Well, not on the podcast to each other.
Oh,
we have TK. It is just a big joke, you guys. But so everybody laugh with me. And if I pull it off, I'll tell you guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hybrid era is starting. I'm very excited to see how everything's gonna go.
I wonder if it's gonna mean like it's gonna really kind of be a toss up on who's gonna take podium, because
I know, it could be very interesting.
It's like the very first, and they did testing, so they have an idea of what
they did a bunch of testing in Iowa this weekend as well,
which David did really good at, right?
He did good at the first test in Milwaukee. I have I'm gonna be honest, not seen anything about the testing. Well, I know not everybody tested either. I think it was like some tested in Wisconsin and some tested Iowa, because like we know Pato tested in Milwaukee, but he didn't test in Iowa. He was in Vegas this weekend with his family. Mm-hmm. By the way, Pato, you have got to take those glasses off.
They're just, I kind of like them.
No, I know. He looks so good in them.
Yeah, no, Gracie was having a moment with that picture. Who do you think, what are your predictions for pole, and what are your predictions for podium?
I really don't know how to predict anything.
Well, IndyCar in general is impossible to predict. Like, because there's so many like teams,
and just with a new, I don't know. It'll be a very interesting race. I'm very excited to see. I think practice will be interesting too, because they're testing out this new stuff and probably other things with the car.
We should go back and watch last year's Mid-Ohio race.
Oh yeah, that could be fun. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like genuinely have no clue.
My fingers are crossed for one of my favorites to win while I'm there, obviously, because we saw in person Alex Palou win, which was good, and then we saw Joseph Newgarden win. So I would like for one of my favorites to win. So Pietro, if Pietro won this weekend,
my God, I'd have to hold you back.
Yeah,
I feel like I could see Palou just winning again. He's so good.
He's so good.
And
Colton or Kyle, I mean, Colton's had such bad luck with things.
Oh my gosh,
lately that like he needs it. But Kyle's also been driving really good lately. The Penske's have been kind of hit or miss recently. Like it's either they all have a really good weekend or they all have a really bad weekend.
Yeah, very interesting.
I'd like for David to do well.
Yeah, I feel like if he wouldn't have gotten the flat tire 2 weeks ago, he would have been in the top 10.
Yep.
So, with that being said, that we are going to Mid-Ohio, we are
going to be posting late.
Well, we're going to bring our equipment because we are leaving.
That's true.
Yeah. We'll be getting back on Monday. So, we'll see how all that goes, but we'll definitely do a full Silverstone recap, just an F1 episode, and then we'll once again do a Mid-Ohio experience and race recap, kind of all in one. So be prepared for a double feature this week.
Woo! Next week, but yeah,
this next coming week. It's gonna be fun. Once again, we follow all of our socials, Instagram and TikTok. We will be there. And we got pit and paddock passes, so
I'm
it'll be
excited.
a little like, I don't know, something new once again. Like I don't know what I'm
We should
stepping
vlog
into.
it.
Yeah.
Actually vlog it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I start like vlogs on my phone and then I start TikTok vlogs and then I just forget to finish them.
Yeah.
I need like set timers on my phone.
Yeah, or like have like Ryan just remind us.
Oh yeah, we're going with some of our friends. We're with our friend Ryan and some of his friends, so
He did offer to film for us at some point.
Yeah, he did. And then our friend that we met on Instagram, Jas, is also going.
Mm-hmm. We know a couple people going.
Yeah, we know a couple
We've
people.
connected with some people on social media
Yeah.
that are going. So if you're going,
yeah, let us know.
Let us know.
We would love to have
a little powwow. Get the girlies together.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna make more friendship bracelets.
I know. I was actually thinking we need to do that. So yeah. Thanks for listening.
Once again, this was a jumble. If you got through the whole thing, thank you so much. We will do better next time. It was a long weekend, you guys.
Bye.